All right, good morning. Please excuse my croaky voice. I'm in 2 Kings chapter 24, the last chapter of 2 Kings. Sorry, my apologies, the second last chapter of 2 Kings, but right before Nebuchadnezzar completely carries away all the Jews. Check that now. Yep, second last chapter. There we go. Before Nebuchadnezzar carries away all the Jews into captivity. I'm just reading here in chapter 24, verse 2. Go verse 1. In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then he turned and rebelled against him. And this is interesting. And the Lord sent against him bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Syrians, and bands of the Moabites, and bands of the children of Ammon, and sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servants, the prophets. Now, I'm hoping you picked that up, but pretty much 4 enemies, let's just see, Chaldees, Syrians, Moabites, and Ammonites. God sent them to destroy his own people, Judah. And that's the interesting thing about the Lord. Yes, God is love, but God is a consuming fire. And a consuming fire needs something to consume. And God uses evil nations as a chastening rod against his own people. I'm just going to show you this in Isaiah 10 verse 5. A bit stronger. It's not actually referring to any of those nations, but another nation which God used to chasten his people. Excuse me. Isaiah 10 verse 5. O Assyrian, the rod of mine anger, and the staff in their hand is mine indignation. Sorry for the shadow there. O Assyrian, the rod of my anger. We know that verse, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Well, the rod is quite often referred to as the chastening of the Lord, the punishment of the Lord. And it says here that the rod in God's hand is the Assyrian. God used that evil nation to bring discipline and chastening to his people, which is quite incredible. And of course, there's a New Testament application for this. Not that necessarily God's going to send a nation, people against you, but God is going to make sure that he chastens his children. So this would be Hebrews chapter 12. Verse 5, and ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. If you're a son of God, you are going to be chastened, because ultimately you're in the flesh. There's some things that you're just going to get sucked into doing because you're still in your sinful flesh. And the only way God's going to get something good out of you is if he chastens you. So for whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. There's no exception there, I've written. Every son. Verse 7, if ye endure chastening. Okay, you can run from it, but you're going to miss something. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, okay, you dodge the chastening, you think you got away with it, whereof all are partakers, then are you bastards and not sons. Which is quite heavy to consider that if you don't endure chastening, if the Lord doesn't chasten you in some way, you're probably not his son. And you've got to check that. And chastening can come in all sorts of methods. I'm not going to go into what methods God can use. We can see in the Bible that he chastens us. Just got to know that God chastened his people, Israel. They rejected him. He sent enemies to destroy them, to kill all their people, and to take them away captive. And now we're the sons of God by faith. But every son and all sons are partakers of chastening. So don't run from it. The best thing to do when the Father's putting the chastening on is get as close as you can to the Father. Don't run. All right, God bless you.